I want to go into the Mary J plant. My first business when I was in South America was I sold brownies. And everybody would be asking me, well, are these happy brownies? These crazy brownies? They call them loco brownies. And I said no, because they were asking if they had Mary J in them. So I figured, look, I'm not gonna buy Mary J in here because I heard Mary J. Where I was, it was, because I don't smoke it. I've never smoked Mary J. But I heard that, a lot of people would say they got sick from the Mary J. They didn't want to smoke it. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, I will grow some Mary J. And I'll grow it myself. And then that way I know it's gonna be good. Mary J. So one of my friends, I had talked to him and he came back to me finally with some Mary J seeds. He was like, okay, Diva, look, I got these 10 seeds here. I got these Mary J seeds. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna plant them in some soil. And then, okay, so 5 of them are likely to be female, and then 5 of them are likely to be male. So, and I was like, wait a minute. We're talking about male, female. He's like, yeah, it's male or female. But listen. He says, you got 10 seeds here. 5 of them are likely to be female, 5 are likely to be male. And it hit me. I was like, I didn't know it had female, male. And he said, listen, okay, so the deal is, he was telling me all of the THC, or the good stuff, the stuff that makes you high, is in the female. He's like, you can't even smoke the male. You can't smoke them. He said, because they give you a headache, is what he says. I wasn't even talking about smoking them anyway, because I don't even smoke that like that, but he was giving me insight. Then he says to me, you have to kill the males. Pay attention to what I'm about to say. He said, you have to kill the males, because if you don't, they're going to blow their stack all over everything and turn everything into a hermaphrodite. And immediately, it reminded me of this society. It reminded me of this whole thing we call a human society. That if you don't kill the males, they're going to blow their stack all over everything and turn everything into a hermaphrodite. Now that leads me to all these so-called transsexuals and, elevated homosexuality and all of this other stuff. Not that I have any issue with it, because one of the things that I know via universal law, everything happens for a reason. So don't none of this faze me at all for any reason. It is what it is, as they say. So I'm just telling you, however, that what's going on in that society reminds me of this society, whereby we have a situation where there are beings that are in abundance and they've blown their stack, and now we got a whole bunch of hermaphrodites. Let's go into this. Again, not trying to be offensive to anybody, but we have to get an understanding of what's going on and who the beings are that we're trying to contract with in this dimension. So you all have you've heard people talk about a reset. Because let's talk about a reset concerning the Mary J plant. Now, getting back to that, once they have blown their stack, these males, then it destroys the entire population, removing the females, and hence none of the population is good at all. You got to just destroy the whole population. That's a reset. And so why am I bringing that up? Because in the marijuana population, there are humans that control this reset, whereby they remove the males from the population, or they just destroy the whole thing because they didn't maintain it properly. Okay. Now, here we are in a situation whereby we have an epidemic. And we haven't been honest or taken a look at it because for whatever reason, people are afraid to face what the true issue is. I talked about where male comes from, and I'm going to say it again and once again. It is not my desire to be disrespectful or hurtful to anyone, especially males, brothers, whomever. It's not my desire, but I'm going to tell you what the facts are. When we're talking about a male is coming from a woman who is under duress. And that's why when I did my research on Mary J, I wanted to understand, well, where does a male Mary J plant come from? Why does it happen? Well, when you look at the planting of Mary J and how these things come to be, what you'll find is that depending on the soil, that's going to determine whether or not that seed grows to be a male or a female. Well, what does that mean? Well, if it's got fungus or bacteria in the soil, if it's too wet or too dry, any of those conditions where there's disturbance in the soil, that seed is likely to become a male. However, the better the soil, the more likely those plants will be females. It's the same thing in humans. When a woman is balanced mentally, spiritually, emotionally, the only thing she's going to give birth to is a female. But when she's disturbed and distressed and under stress, well, you're going to know. You don't have to tell me because I know the law. I understand how these things work. The same way they say you will know the tree by the fruit it bears. Well, I know when I'm looking in this society what the woman is going through. I know by what she gives birth to, what her mental state was at that time.